So I'm Kathleen Weddle Sizer, president of WSGS, and I am welcoming you to our first roundtable. And today we're going to do programs. I would like introductions from everybody. And at the top of your screen or on the side of your screen, you may see individuals. Let's start with Barbara. Please introduce yourself and tell us what organization you belong to.
Hi, I'm Barbara Lockard. I am a part of the Lower Columbia Genealogical Society in Longview. I've been a member since 1968. I've been president, I've been trustee. I am now the chairman of our programs for the society.
Okay, next, Roxanne.
I've got two hats on. I am the secretary and the webmaster of the Washington State Genealogical Society, and I'm also the proud president of the Grays Harbor Genealogical Society.
Valerie.
Hi, I'm Valerie Zimmerman. I am the president of South King County Genealogical Society and the vice president of Black Genealogy Research Group of Seattle. And I am vice president of the state GS as well.
Okay, we've got Roberta.
Okay, my name's Roberta Grisette. I am from Clallam County Genealogical Society. And we always have troubles with Zoom. It's unfortunate. And I've served everything from hospitality chair to president, and secretary, except for treasurer, and we let Jenny Majewski do that. So I'll be glad to answer your questions on what our programs have been, which ones have been successful, and I'll be sure to tell you about our upcoming seminar with Lisa also. Okay.
Our next participant is Carla Adams, and she's new to Zoom. I'm just going to help her. Just a minute.
I just had muted her because we are getting an echo from her. So I clicked the ask to unmute.
Okay. Well, go ahead and talk.
That's good.
Introduce yourself.
And
Roxanne, I love your quilt. Did you make that?
My grandmother made it as a wedding present for my parents in 1948.
It's beautiful.
It's lovely. I have a feeling that there was the echo because we had two computers too close together, both on Zoom. That is a problem. It's always an issue with Zoom.
We'll be taking care of that. Carla, introduce yourself, please.
Carla Adams from Yakima Genealogy Society with Kathy, and I've been a member since January of '85, and been an officer for umpteen years, vice president, president, secretary, several, positions.
Thank you. Okay, next we've got Terry. Terry, you're muted.
I'm Terry Church. I'm with the Olympia Genealogical Society. I have kind of a scratchy throat due to a recent COVID experience. This is kind of my second role in that's anything other than just a member going to the meetings in Olympia. And I'm enjoying it. I work full time, so I have kind of limited time sometimes, but I'm really enjoying my involvement with our program committee.
Okay. Carol, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Carol Anderson. I'm with the Eastern Washington Genealogical Society, and happy to say I see a few people I know on here. I'm the program committee chair and have been for a couple of years now. I have a team of 8, including myself. So we feel that we have this honed in. So I'm happy to answer questions and share what I know. Thanks.
Thanks. Okay, now I'm not sure of your name, but it says Crazy Woman. Unmute yourself, please. There you go.
I did. I'm Barb McGill, Northeast Washington Genealogical Society out of Colville. We encompass Ferry, Stevens, and Pondere County. I'm vice chair. I've been doing programs for only 2.5 years. So I'm a newbie.
Thank you. Next, we have Barbara. You need to unmute. Oh, no, you've already gone. Betty, please unmute, introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Betty Weiss with the Bainbridge Island Society, and I've held a lot of different roles. My focus is education, and that's really internally focused primarily to our members. So it's the special interest groups and mentors. And my partner there, Susan Palmer, will tell you about what she does. So we're organized, I think, a little differently than some of the other societies.
Okay. Margie Wilson.
Hello, my name is Margie Wilson. I'm the current president for the Skagit Valley Genealogical Society. And I've been on the board, I think since 2008 in various capacities, and have served as vice president. Our bylaws just have the vice president in charge of the programming, but I'm captivated by this idea of committees performing that role. The board does review ideas that the vice president presents for potential programs. So I hope to learn a lot tonight, and it's very nice to meet all of you. Thank you.
Okay. Is it Sally? I'm not pronouncing your name right, but go ahead. Sale. Okay.
Seal, short
Seal.
for Cecilia.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the education director at Seattle Genealogical Society. My responsibilities are for monthly speakers. We have a couple of programs that are monthly. We have 10 dozen or more special interest groups, and we sponsor a seminar chair, but we haven't had a seminar chair. I just got the message my internet is unstable, so if I freeze, I apologize. I'm going to turn my camera off. So that's mostly what I do.
Okay. And Debbie Stiles.
Hi, I'm Debbie Stiles Lusk. I'm just moved to Grays Harbor a couple of years ago, joined the Grays Harbor Genealogical Society. I'm not a board member, I'm not an officer, but Roxanne, put out the cry, please come program committee. So I joined the program committee, and it's just a committee of 3, but I'm all excited about being part of it.
Okay. And Karen? No, Beth. We have you next. Beth.
Hi, I'm Beth Snyder. I'm from the East Side Genealogical Society. I realized after the fact that East Side is not very revealing to people who aren't living here, but that's Kirkland, Bellevue, Issaquah, that kind of area. And it's really nice to meet you all because I'm very lonely. I'm the only one.
Okay, Karen.
I'm Karen Layfelt. I'm the president of Twin Rivers Genealogy Society. I'm also a member of Eastern Washington Genealogy Society. Hi, Carol. And I've been doing genealogy for 5 years.
Okay. And we have Jim.
I'm Jim Secan. I'm president of Seattle Genealogical Society. And I'm basically here to make sure SEAL doesn't get into trouble. Or get us into trouble.
Hey,
Okay. Charles.
I'm Charles Hanson. I'm the blog person for WSGS on that. I've been with EWGS since 1991 and doing research for others starting in 1998, and a few other things off and on since then. So,
Okay. And Pat.
I am Pat Hoyrup, a member of the Skagit Valley Genealogical Society. I'm the vice president responsible for programming. I'm very interested in hearing about how these committees function to provide programming. And I've also joined a couple of other societies just so I can keep track of what's going on.
Okay. Renee.
I'm Renee Meiser. I'm with the Jefferson County Genealogical Society in Port Townsend. I've been on the education committee, and we do have a committee of 7 right now, for about 4 years. And we hold 2 virtual programs every month. And I've been helping with those since we started right after COVID. And we're continuing on with that.
Okay. Susan.
Susan Rumble with the Wenatchee Area Genealogical Society. And I am the president and I am the program chair. And I kind of work a lot with our library chair and other people just to get suggestions. But yeah, I've been president for a long time and I've been program chair for a long time.
Okay. Marjorie McConnell.
Okay, well, I can attest that the committee plan works really well. And anybody who joins the committee, they're entitled to a free drink. I took bartending during COVID for something to do. I'm the program chair for Grays Harbor, and Debbie is on that committee. And what I can say briefly is that Polly is also on our committee. They both bring different strengths. So all 3 of us have a different area of expertise and strength, which really makes it smooth. I browbeat people at our last meeting to get on the publicity committee. So my job there is to review and edit. The other 2 ladies both have great connections and they're in town. I'm in Oregon. So I'm not at all the meetings, so they can do that part of it and I can do the background work. So I've been doing genealogy since about 85. My mother was born in PL, if any of you know where that is, besides Roxanne and Debbie, in 1920. So I have some roots going back there and in Aberdeen.
Okay. Greg.
Hi, my name is actually Diana, but I can't get this thing to change the name for me. Excuse me. I'm with the Olympia Genealogical Society, just like Terry Church, and we're both on the program committee. And I don't know how long I've been with this organization. It's been many, many, many years. I wish I could remember.
Okay. Diane, introduce yourself, another one of our board members. And you're on mute, Diane. There we go.
Hi. So I'm on the education chair for the Washington State Genealogy Society. I just moved my I moved my monitor, so I'm looking at everybody over there. But I'm with the Kittitas County Genealogical Society, but I'm not. They don't have a program chair.
Okay, and we have William.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I've been in the OGS for about 3 years. I'm currently the vice president, and prior to my this year, the vice president took care of the programs. This year we have a committee and it's just worked out absolutely wonderful. We have 3 people on it and we've come up with great programs, and I can see the value of having a committee. If you don't have one, you should get one because everybody's got some specific interests and they will follow through with them. And we've had great programs this year. So that's what I'd like to pass on.
Okay. Well, thank you. So,
can I go? I didn't.
I missed somebody? Yeah.
I'm another one of the Susans here.
Another
Susan
Susan,
Palmer,
okay.
Bainbridge Island, Washington. I'm a committee of 1, though I work with Betty Weiss in education, and board members are always giving me ideas. In addition to planning the 12 meetings we have, which I'm responsible for, we have a couple of parties. And so I'm interested in ideas for parties too. Christmas was a great success after hibernation, but now we want to have a summer party. So looking for ideas there too. Thank you.
Okay. Well, just a couple things, housekeeping, and then I'm going to turn this over to Valerie. We've all introduced ourselves. I thought that was important. You know, we may want to meet again. Now, all of you have met each other from the different societies. And the purpose of our roundtable today is going to be sharing ideas, you know, what works, what doesn't work. One thing I can say is we've been doing programs for a long time, Yakima Valley Genealogical Society, which I am treasurer at this point, but I've been president, vice president, secretary. We've been around since 1968. And last month I did a program on Dear Diary, talking about how diaries can help us in genealogy. This Saturday, Judy Schuster is going to be doing one on the flip side, the backs of records and documents that we don't always look at. And we will be having a spring workshop. And so welcome, Valerie will be our moderator. I turn it over to you, Valerie. Could you hear me, Valerie?
I could. I just couldn't figure out how to unmute myself because I had another window hiding it. So thank you. And it's really nice to meet everybody. And I just think that the energy in the room is lovely. I wish that more of the education team was here, but they are not. But as the president, I'm an ex officio member, so I guess I'm the official delegate. I have to say that our committees, since we have had a committee, which I think is about 3 years, it's been excellent. And I can just say how ours works. We just get together a couple times a year and get a list together of our interests, you know, what we think that the society needs, people we may have heard in various ways, live or, you know, on webinars or Zoom or whatever, or word of mouth, and sort of talk about how much they charge, who's interested in really bringing them, and then everybody decides who is going to invite whom. And so I have invited a speaker who was this last month. And it was really successful. I just thought it was really cool. He talked about, he's an architect who talked about the records that you can get from the National Park Service. The protected houses now, of course, now that I'm talking, I can't remember the name of the thing, but historical houses and places and so forth. Anyway, so there's all kinds of things you can do. Like there's a million things that can help you with your genealogy. Somebody else really wanted to hear about Canadian genealogy, since so many of us have people that popped in back and forth across the border. So she is the one who contacted Dave Obey and scheduled it and got the contract signed. and that sort of thing. So that is how our committee works. Does anybody else want to talk about how their committee works and what does not work for you? Just unmute yourself and start talking.
Anybody?
Hi, this is this is Diana again up here in the corner. Yeah, on the Olympia Genealogical Society, this is our first year to do a committee. Prior to that, the vice president always did everything themselves, and they did not have any budget basically to work with. So there's 3 of us working on it, and we have used both professional speakers who we offer an honorarium of $100 to. And we also have gone within our own organization and used some people from there on. In April, we're going to have 3 of our members are going to be doing sort of a panel discussion of how they have worked with overseas investigation, overseas research, and both, you know, at home and if they go overseas too. Because so many people feel like when they find out somebody came from a foreign country, they figure that's, you know, sort of the end of the trail. They can't do that. They don't speak that language, etc. So they're going to explain how it is possible to do that and how they went about it. And then another one of our drawing from our membership meetings was in December, where we simply had people talk about their vacations, both the most recent summer vacation and prior ones too, and what they how their research experiences went. And that, you know, everybody seemed to enjoy that one. And so for those 2, we're not going to be paying any money. We did offer a $50 honorarium to our own members who are doing the panel discussion in April, but they've all declined on that. But we have spent, like I said, you know, the other months we have used professional speakers, really benefited from that. And it's been a really good experience. We've, you know, all of us were absolutely new at it, including the person, William, who was heading up as vice president. He hadn't done any of this either. So we really all had to get our feet wet together. But we went by what the previous vice president had, you know, said as what he had done for the last 2 or 3 years for programs. And we also had taken a survey of our members and asked them what areas of interest they had, what would they like to see at programs too. And so we worked off of both of those, and we also had some links to, like, to professional genealogists and all, and we could go through what they the different topics that they spoke to and pick from those. So it's been sort of a, you know, a mixed thing, but with good results. We're almost done. Anyway, so thank you.
I'd like to chime in on that. As I mentioned earlier, I'm the program committee chair. I have 4 other people on my committee. We meet only once a year. We meet at my house for breakfast, and I'll have to say a few little breakfast cocktails. And we determine what we want to propose for the slate for next year. And we only meet 10 times a year. So with 5 of us, we each take 2 potential speakers, and it is your responsibility to contact that speaker, negotiate the fee, and then follow up with that speaker prior to 1 month before his speaking engagement and make sure everything is still in the works. And then that person introduces the speaker at the meeting and follows up with a thank you note as well as a check for his fee. And it works great. The only problem we have is, as I said earlier, I've been a member of the society since 1968, is trying to please the seasoned genealogists as well as the new genealogists. So we try to appease everybody in the group during the year.
Well, before we go further, can I ask, do most people have just a meeting? Do you just meet once a month? Because
we do, yes.
Because I know South King County used to only meet once a month, but we have really active SIGs. And so we meet practically every week. I think that makes a difference as far as making everybody happy. That's what.
And you have a program every week?
Well,
special interest.
Yeah. I mean, today we had a chat. So there's nothing for the chat. You know, we just like each other and everybody shows up and talks about whatever's on their mind.
How many members do you have?
About 100.
Really? That's good.
Yeah, we've
For
grown
100 people.
We've grown since the lockdown because we do virtual meetings. We were doing them. We used to have three special interest groups per month. But I think that helps a lot to get new people, satisfied. And I will say that we have lost some more experienced, like we have some people who became professionals and then no longer come to meetings because we don't offer anything for them. So, what Barbara said is an issue. But I interrupt somebody else. I think Carol.
Thanks. I'm taking quick notes because I just want to go through my stuff briefly to give everybody a chance to talk. So we pay $150 honorarium. We have upped it from $100. We have over 200 members now in our society. Last summer, we went to the county fair and had a booth, and we gained 70 plus new members from that booth.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really tremendous to help grow our membership. So I'm sure we will do it again this year. Also with at the booth at the fair, we had a notebook, and we are offering free beginning genealogy classes that are being taught by Donna Potter Phillips, which probably a lot of you may know. And then Linda Keenan is teaching beginning DNA classes. Both those classes are free. They're offering them multiple times at the different libraries in and around Spokane. I forgot to say earlier that EWGS is in Spokane. So that we really get the word out, and that helps increase our membership. We do meet monthly on the program committee. I have a healthy budget, and we have really tried to focus on nationally known speakers. There are lots of speakers that we have had in the past that are local, regional, even in our society. Donna has taught tons of classes for us. But we really felt like the time was right to go out to nationally known speakers. Some of the big ones that we've loved are Judy Russell, Tom Jones, David Obey. I heard him mentioned earlier. It really, I think, has boosted our interest in people coming to our meetings. Every one of, there's 8 meetings a year that are free. We charge nothing, even though they get a nationally known speaker for an hour. We have 2 seminars, spring, April and October, and those are all-day events. We have 3 speakers at each of those events, and those are the ones that we charge money for and have a catered lunch. So there's my spiel. And we have, we think the committee style is fantastic. Dolly Webb was our president and suggested we go to a committee for the programs. And it has been the best thing we ever did. So I totally endorse that.
Can I talk next?
Go, Debbie.
Go, Debbie.
I was looking at some of the messages that were popping up and about the difficulty in filling board members, let alone finding committees. As a new member to the local society and someone who just recently retired, so my husband and I are still doing a lot of traveling and all that kind of stuff, I would never, ever have stepped into a board or officer positions because I just didn't trust myself to have the time and be able to do it well. But asking me to be on a committee, I can handle that. And Marjorie McConnell has been wonderful as the chair for the committee.
Thank you. I've heard all of these comments from other groups, whether it's genealogy, Quilt Guild, whatever it is. You just cannot, it is very difficult to get people to step up. That's one reason I think the committee concept works, is because everybody works together. Nobody's out there on their own doing it. And we took Roxanne's work. She had done a survey before we ever thought of being on the committee. We took that survey, we really studied it to see what people wanted. And then from that grew a list of monthly meeting topics that actually takes us into 24. Some of those are standalone, some of those build on each other as over a couple of months. So that's how we approached it. And like I said, I'm doing publicity too. I'm the editor reviewer, but the two local people have a lot of contacts they know. So we've taken past information. In fact, one of the things I'm doing, I asked if it was okay, was to put together a binder, because that's what I find is people don't know what's expected of them if they take on a position. So I'm putting just a small binder together for the two committees that people can see kind of a brief job description, what they're responsible for, where the resources are. For instance, publicity, it'll have all of the local newspapers or the radio stations, whoever we're reaching out to. It'll have a list of the places where things can be posted. The Church of Latter-day Saints, the libraries, the museums, so that the word gets out. And then as new people join, we can find out. I mean, I'm retired. I know Debbie's retired. Polly on our committee is retired. This way, not one of us is doing everything, and we don't schedule our holidays and vacations with each other, but it's working out so that at least one of us is always on board the day of the meeting. There was something else I was going to mention quickly, and I lost it. So if it comes back, I'll pop back in.
I would like to ask if any societies have thought about going in together. So Jane and Jim and I, Jane from East Side and Jim from Seattle, got together sometime in this last month for coffee. And one of the ideas that came up, I think it was Jane, said, what if we, like once a year or twice a year, got together, the three of us, and got one of those expensive speakers that none of us could really want to afford all by ourselves? I thought that sounded like a really cool idea. And then you could, pay extra for the one Zoom where you can have over 100 people and, have a super top-notch speaker. Because some of them charge up to $400 now, which is sort of rich for our blood. So I think that and I saw that Roxanne asked Carol about her idea with reciprocating with some Midwest societies. I don't see where Carol is, but you could speak up.
I think I'm the only Carol on, but I don't remember about Midwest. Oh, I know what you're talking about. So we are currently in the middle, toward the end of putting on a series of programs called Heritage from the Heartland. And we started this last year in the fall, and each month we have featured one state in the heartland of our country, thinking that a lot of members have family that when they immigrated, they either went through the heartland states or settled in the heartland states for a time. So we are just winding that up. We'll be done with all the states that we've slated to do in June. It's been really fun. And we have a person that does, she's going to plan a silent auction for our April seminar, which should be, which will be a big day for us. And we just have a lot of fun doing stuff. I don't know, we laugh a lot, we enjoy what we do, and when everybody on the committee splits up the work, it really makes it much easier. So that's a big bonus to having a committee.
Well, the part of the story that I was drawn to was that your society contacted these Midwest societies and said, hey, do you have anybody who would like to speak to our society for free, and we'll speak to your society, and this is what we can offer your society. That's sort of this collaboration is, especially with people that you don't even know, societies you haven't even ever contacted before.
Right.
That I thought was really gutsy and creative.
Well, Lori Lee Sauber, who some of you probably know, and Linda Keenan really kind of hatched this idea, and the program committee went with it. And we started by contacting the presidents of each state society to ask if either they were interested or knew of someone that would speak about their state. Then Lori Lee put together a template of like 5 slides via PowerPoint. And she sent that out to any of the potential speakers at all these different states that we featured. And so that really gave them a good handle on what we wanted to hear, migration patterns, history, it really gave them the guideline to put their talk together. So yeah, thanks.
I'd like to add to that, also the door prizes and the raffles are all geared around that state that is being featured that month. And so it really ties in together nicely.
That's cool.
WGS would like to jump in. Real quick, I'm just going to mention 2 things, and then Carla's got a couple things to mention about our programs. One thing I did when I was vice president was I set up an Excel spreadsheet, and it lists our monthly meetings, our special interest groups, our workshops, and our seminars, going all the way back to the founding of our society, what the program was about, who spoke, what year it was done. And then that way we can look back and see, oh, well, we haven't done this program in a while on Italy, or we haven't done this program in a while on Civil War. And that has worked out very well. And also when you asked Valerie about societies getting together, we have worked with Tri-Cities and Task to put on programs and shared the program information. And those 3 societies, we've had members come from all 3 societies to attend their societies. And then Carla's to mention as well.
I have one last question. Has anybody chosen a topic or a speaker that you thought would be great and it really bombed? I think we should warn one another.
I can jump in on that real quick.
Okay.
And I don't want to hurt any feelings, but years ago, I attended a seminar in Port Angeles.
Oh, wasn't that awful?
And they had
oh my God.
An attorney from Canada that came down. I absolutely loved everything else about the seminar, all the other speakers, everything that went
They
on.
were fantastic. He was horrible.
But he was terrible.
Yeah, I planned that. But I did not hire that speaker. Jenny did. I'll throw her under the bus.
I think I was
thought of
there
him
too.
when you asked that. But I didn't remember who he was. It's easy to forget. He's a sweet man, but and he wore these outrageous jackets. I mean,
yeah, I was going to say, I remember the plaid suit he wore.
You remember the plaid jacket?
Yes.
We're still apologizing for that one.
I was not so much thinking about speakers who stunk because, you know, there could be somebody who and they just got self-confident or had a stroke, or I mean, you just don't know. But programs that you thought were going to work, I mean, we had a couple really good seminars. I thought they were fantastic seminars, but we made like $5. And we just decided for all the work, we're just not doing seminars for a while.
Seminars are tricky.
Yeah.
Because you never know. Now, we find that if the seminar is too specific for an area, that it doesn't work. But we've really hired some really good speakers. That's been our stick this time. I don't know, it's not my turn. Or should I take it? Anyway, I'll go ahead and get it over with here, inflict this on all of you. And I did hear one time when the devil decided to get even, he decided to create a committee. But I don't think that has applied from what I'm hearing. At any rate, we instituted a speaker program. And because of Zoom, which COVID brought us screaming and kicking into the 21st century. So now we have Zoom, and I've had speakers from all over the United States. This year we've had, in January, we had Claudia Brayland, and she's really wonderful. We had her do her thing on newspapers, and she's from your end of the woods, right? And in February, we had Steve Morrison, and he did a wonderful job. We're having a seminar on March 11th with Elisa Alzo, and she has put together new topics on women. And, you know, they're so hard to find, and so she's going to help us there. Now, last year we had her, and it was a wonderful seminar, but it dealt more with Eastern Europe, and it was not as, you know, it was a little too specific for a lot of our members. So we're thinking this one should be wonderful because she's really a great speaker. Now, when you talk about committee, I've been talking to a couple of people who I'm going to ask to be on my committee. And one of them mentioned, oh, well, I don't want to come to the seminar because I can get so much free on webinars and online. And that is what we're dealing with, because where all of our speakers are free, we're having 2 seminars. And the thing with a seminar, you can talk to these people and they'll answer your questions. It really is more one-on-one. You know, you just don't sit there eating your pizza or whatever. Debbie Smythe is coming in April, and she is a genealogist from Florida. And you look in the APG and the other, what is it, genealogy speakers things. They're just tells you all of their credentials, and we've been very lucky with this. Judy Russell is coming May 3rd, and it's free, and Debbie's free, and Mike Carson is coming, and he is a hoot. He's from Chicago, and we had him last year with My Cousin the Gangster, and he's from Chicago. Then Claire Smith is coming July 8th, and in August we have a rummage sale to help pay for all of this because these people are not cheap. And Virginia Majewski is maybe September 9th, and Jill Morelli is coming with a seminar, and it will be an in-house seminar but we will also have it by Zoom. And you all probably have heard her speak. She's one of my favorite people, really. And then November 11th, we're having Sarah Cochran, who we had last year, and she was great. Now, before we could afford to have this and have these speakers, we did buy a new building. The money was donated to us to buy a new building for our library. And then thank you, Seattle, for moving to smaller digs. We bought a heck of a lot of your books. And we've had, and thank you, Donna Potter Phillips, for bringing us a lot of the books from her area that were being removed from the library. And anyway, we have this huge library. It's one of the, probably about the third largest private library up in Podunk County. I can say that because I'm not from here. And anyway, before then, and we have a rental unit in the bottom of it to keep the lights on in this building. And so we've had, we spent COVID renovating it. It was wired by chipmunks. Anyway, some of the things we did before then, when we did not have a lot of money and we had to pay for venues and so on. Oh, and we had a Christmas party last year that was just our members only, and it was live in person, and we played some great games like who is this a photograph of, and a list of genealogical terms. And I will be glad to pass that on to you anytime you want. Let me know, and I'll matching these horrible words that you find in genealogy. Anyway, one of the things we had was an antiques roadshow, and that was really fun. People brought their antiques and talked about them and what's the story behind this item. And then Jenny and I gave a talk on the horseman didn't ride alone, and it had to do with the 4 horsemen and so forth and death stuff. We had a local journalist come over, and he was very popular. We had a local historian come out, and she told about how to take care of your artifacts. Then, of course, we have Virginia Majeski here with our group, and she gives wonderful talks, and she probably would give talks to your organizations for very little.
I am going to have to cut you off, Roberta.
Yeah, well, I'm
because
done.
we have less than 10 minutes left, and we
Okay,
have
well-
about 10 minutes to cram in. So
well, at any rate, those are ideas for all of you. And
Thank
I'll
you.
be glad to share anything like that.
yes,
Thank you.
let's see, who was I supposed to hand off to?
Charles.
Charles.
Well, I just put my information in the chat there on how to get in touch with me on that, to be sure and send all your information to me on the blog so we can publish it to, we have roughly 991 people that read that blog every week. And so you get out all over the state. So
I would like to mention that Roxanne does a fantastic idea work on the website. So if you send things to her and Charles, they'll be in both of them. And that's what we're seeing now, aren't we? So
We are.
Roxanne,
Yeah, let me bring, hold on here a second. Let me share my screen with you. I want to talk a little bit about the State Society website. Move things around here a little bit for you. This is the State Society website. Right here under meetings and events, I'd like to point this out. If you will send your meetings, seminars, SIGs, any events, special events that you have to Charles at the blog and me for the website, I'll get these in the listed in this calendar. I also want to point out something that's really pretty handy. You can use this search function. If you are looking for a program, you can go to history of past events.
and go to title and description, and let's just type in Quakers and see somebody. Oh, look at that. SGS has somebody in their fall seminar. This is a great way to find programs, what other people have done in the past. I heard somebody mention Steve Morrison. Look at, yeah, he's pretty popular. So this is something, oh, there he is again. This is a service that you can go to the meetings and events page, go to history of past events, and you can find old programs. Of course, you could also, if you want to know about conferences and seminars in the next month, okay, don't forget Roots Tech. Don't forget SGS is having their spring seminar. And so is Clallam County. And so is Twin Rivers, all within the next month. So please, please use this, send us your events so that we can get it publicized for you, and also other people can use that information. One other resource I'll talk about very quickly is here under Washington Resources, and it is a speakers directory. We are updating this right now and are hoping to make it very robust. We have a list of speakers, a little bit about their fees. A few of them even have no fee or are negotiable, particularly for small societies. So name, the area, and with Zoom these days, it's amazing. You know, they will appear on your computer screen. And here's a little bit of a biography of each of those people. So again, this is the speakers directory. Also, if you have people in your society that will give presentations, please send that information. I'll put it in the chat, the address to send it to. So Washington Resources and Speakers Directory. Okay. All right, Valerie, I'm going to send it back to you for the ending.
Mm-hmm.
And
I am muted. Yeah. Every time I look at my script, I'm muted and I can't find my unmute. I would like to thank everybody for attending, and we have a short poll. So Roxanne, can you roll out that poll before people start?
I believe, this is the first for me, but I believe as people leave, it will pop up on their screen. It's just a few short questions. We appreciate it. It's all anonymous, but we want to know how we did and whether this was value added.
Right, because we would love to post these anytime people think that they're useful. At one point, we thought treasurers might want to get together and talk about, you know, who still offers good insurance for societies. Program chairs, I think, was the other one. And of course, there's the Washington President's Council. And if anybody needs the information for that, just drop note to any one of us and we will tell you how to get in touch with the Washington President's Council. That was basically people that was formed when 2 or 3 presidents got together right when the lockdown happened and wanted to hold hands and cry and say, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Are we all going to die? And, you know, it's just been wonderful to help one another and get to know one another. It's just really been useful. So I loved this.
Let me just say one quick thing about the survey. As you leave this roundtable, if you don't get a survey, would you please send whatever comments you want to info@wasgs.org, just so we know how we did. Good and the not so good. So I'm sorry, Carol, you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly say, because I forgot to say this earlier, I think that hybrid meetings are a must anymore. We have a great Zoom team, AV team that handles our hybrid meetings, and it's the way you gotta go. So, you know, it's hard to learn it, but if you've got a couple of guys and women that are tech savvy and willing to learn, it's time to get on board.
We have done 2 tests now, and we are planning a 3rd test. And then I think March meeting's is going to be our first hybrid general meeting. So finding places is harder than it used to be. All right, I'm going to declare the meeting over at 7:30. You can stick around and keep chatting as long as you like.
Thank you. I just was wondering how many of these different societies, how long you've been in business, so to speak.
YVGS, 1968.
SGS has been around since 1923, so we're celebrating our 100th anniversary.
Oh,
Wow.
EWGS was founded in 1935, so we're sneaking up on them.
Very nice. Yeah.
Twin Rivers, Twin Rivers Genealogy was formed in 1967. It's actually an Idaho corporation, but it serves both Clarkston, Washington, and Lewiston, Idaho surrounding areas. So we just celebrated our 55th anniversary.
Very nice.
Wenatchee just did 50.
Cool.
Column did 60.
I would have to look at the Washington State website to know about Suffolk County, and I'm president. I don't remember how many years. Or maybe it's on our logo.
I was also going to mention that our group, our program committee does meet monthly. And we do that at least 1 week prior to the meeting, just so that we can touch base. It keeps everything moving, keeps it smooth. And then if there's any problems, we have time to hopefully fix it.
But do you have breakfast with breakfast drinks? I mean,
hey, you know, if they want to come to my house, they will anytime. The bar is open. I have a traveling bar, so when we do our field trip, those that are staying overnight might just have a, you know, I have a traveling coffee bar and a traveling bar.
Very nice.
I would like to mention one thing that Carla Adams brought up was one year we had a major speaker for a seminar, and at the last minute, the individual canceled. So it's always good to have another plan.
And we
Another
do,
plan, right, Carla?
We had several members spoke up and, you know, we had a seminar at that point instead of a workshop, or excuse me, we had a workshop instead of a seminar. And it worked out great. Everybody's happy. And
did that person who ducked out at the last minute, did they have an good excuse?
Not really. No, she just decided, no, I'm not gonna do it.
Wow. You should blacken her name publicly right now.
Well, she kind of is. We just won't, you know, ask her. I don't even know if the lady's living now because that's been many years ago.
Okay.
Wow.
That's terrible. That's breach of contract, really.
Well, we had these little classes. These people that spoke up and you know, did the classes in individual rooms, they've done it before. So, you know, it was very organized. It turned out we had lunch and everybody's happy. So,
well, I guess if it was in real time, you could just sort of, you know, do your planning. I'm just trying to imagine how you would do that in Zoom, but
one of the things we do when we have a speaker back out at the last minute, which we had a lot of during COVID, because many of our potential speakers ended up having COVID, we have what we call brick wall meetings. And our members love that. They love to get on Zoom, present a problem, and hopefully somebody else can help them work through that brick wall. So that's something to keep in mind if you don't have a backup program.
And we've done that. We have a backup, and sometimes we've relied on a pre-recorded program from Legacy Family Tree Webinars, and we preview it, we cut it, we show pertinent slides, something like that. But yes, you do always, you have to be prepared for a glitch. My computer's gonna crash. I guess it wants to be plugged in. It's been busy today. This is my third Zoom.
I do want to give a little suggestion. Before COVID, so before this wonderful program committee started in Grays Harbor, we had a little program called 10-Minute Ticker. And the what it was is a member of our society would stand up and talk for 10 minutes about something they discovered, a tip, just whatever they wanted. And what it did is it got those members who were reticent to talk a little more involved. 10 minutes. That's
great idea.
You only have to talk for 10 minutes about something you already know. And really, it was pretty successful. Anyway, a suggestion.
Good idea.
I'd like to mention that Carla just started doing at our programs is we have a short 5-minute introduction to.
I really can't hear you, Kathy.
No. Okay.
There you go.
So what Carla Adams started doing is having a little short 5-minute slot where she has one of our members talk about a book that's in our library that is very interesting to our other members. And because we do have a library with an extensive collection, it's really been a hit. And that was Carla's idea.
Good one.
I think that that would be a great idea just as a regular part of meetings. It doesn't have to be like the fallback if something happens. That just sounds like a great idea. We also have a collection.
Part of our meeting, yes. And the nice thing about it is we've stressed so many times to new members, not everything is on the internet. So you've got to go to these other sources, and that's what Carla is really pushing.
Right. I think that's important. Okay, before my computer dies, I'm going to do Roxanne's quiz. See if I can pass it. And I'll see you all later. It's been a pleasure. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Marjorie.
Thank you so much. This was very informational. Thank you.